Alright folks, and welcome back to Let's Try Ocarina of Time. This is part 9. And yes, it is a Let's Try because I'm still working out how to make this video sound smoother. So I'm just going to kind of jump right into this and talk a little bit about those little furry orange, flowery, monstrous type creatures that look like monsters under bushes. I'm sure we know about, if you're an avid Zelda fan, you'll probably know about them already, but they're what we call Deku scrubs. And except for like right here, their primary source of help is to just get like sell link items and stuff like that. In this portion of the game, they're actual enemies, and they're kind of cute to talk to and fight, if you ask me. So they've developed some curiosity, but you know, it took me a while to figure that out. But hey, they're Deku scrubs. They scrub, they scrub and they rub. And we meet the Peter Pan girl here, who now reveals her name is Saria. I don't know how Saria gets the name, so YouTubers, fill in the blanks. But we are going to learn a new song. We're going to learn a couple new songs in this run here, if you don't already know them. But this first one evidently has been used in a lot of other games, and I didn't really know this until last year. And it's basically the song of Saria, which really doesn't play much role in the game a whole lot, I'll say that up front, but it is useful for getting like advice and guidance on where to go. Of course, Navi can be useful as well, provided you've learned the whole Z targeting method. So as you can see, I'm kind of messing up on playing this, and this is due to the fact that I'm just still getting used to the way I have the controls set up. I have like a basic USB controller that's big enough to really fit like a SNES emulator, but I managed to set it up so that I could work a few buttons as like the C button and stuff like that. I thought of like getting a wireless N64, but why bother? Because if you got something that can work better, then you've got that. And Link looks mysteriously at his ocarina, saying, "What in the world did I just do?" And I'm sorry, it's not an ocarina yet. It's just a small little flute. Well, no, maybe it is an ocarina. I'm sorry. It's been like almost a year since I played this. So, all right. So now we're gonna head back. That little Triforce symbol that's off to the left, that's gonna be coming into play later on in the game. It's gonna be kind of used as like a warp. But I'll talk about that in the ensuing videos. So here I'm trying to just show off what it's like to fight a Deku scrub, because it will be pretty much the last time in the game you ever have to do that. So, I mean, as far as like just earning like rupees from them, you still like kind of fight them like with your shield, but that's really the last time you do it with your sword. Upon several runs of this video, I would have showed you the hole where that ladder is over there. Oh yeah, these rocks here serve no purpose at all. They just sort of tell you like your current time of play, which isn't really useful until you get what's called the well, it's a mask that lets you kind of just read, to just get different responses from people and from things. It's kind of cool. But yeah, that hole basically just leads to a fairy pool. If you're an avid Legend of Zelda fan since it like came out back in the 80s, you know exactly what that's going to be used for. And now we come to my first complaint of the game. For some reason, well, there's two things with this owl that I don't quite understand. He sort of like turns his head upside down randomly, in the emulator, but does not in the regular game, and I don't even know why, but it just seems silly. Now, the other one that's kind of weird is, here you are, you've learned about two songs so far on your ocarina, and only now, after learning those two, does the owl explain where to find those melodies. I wouldn't have probably known this until, I didn't really know this until later, but apparently and evidently you can find the songs in the collection screen. I haven't used it a whole lot yet, and I won't be in this video, but I won't be doing it in this video. Okay. So here I already run into a little bit more of a frame issue here, because I guess evidently when you hit the skulls it can create more frame lag. I don't even call it lag anymore, it's just frames, too many frames being used in a second or whatever. So I'll be still toying around with this. I'll have like a couple of other ideas and I'm gonna work out. We'll see what happens. But yeah, with the owl, it's just weird that he just says that now instead of like at the beginning. Yeah, it just makes sense to have like a separate tutorial for it. Maybe when the update for the 3DS comes out in the latter part of this year, maybe that'll get corrected. I only just heard it today that when you want to make a switch to certain things like the shield and the sword and whatever or not, you'll actually be able to use the stylus rather than just keep on like hitting pause to go to the items screen or whatnot. And so that'll be pretty convenient for those of you that are avid Ocarina of Time fans. So that'll be a real good thing. It'll especially be helpful in the water tower round later on in the game, which I'll be getting into much later. But when I found out about that, I'm just like, sweet. That'll save a lot of trouble. Well, that wasn't necessarily trouble. It's just a matter of knowing when you have to change boots and all that sort of thing. But that's not gonna. We don't need to worry about that right now. So right now we're gonna head into our first actual town of the game. I don't really count Lon Lon Ranch as a town. I just count it as a ranch. But right off the bat, you'll hear music from A Link to the Past that you hear like in the beginning of the game when you're like facing the abandoned town. I won't be going on a guided tour as to what's in this town, but there are a couple of interesting things that I am going to probably show you. I want to show everyone in the next couple of videos. There is a couple of good games and shops that you can play. There is a well which has no significance now, but might in the near future. Oops, maybe I just gave a little hint away. There is a game where you can sort of like pick up some chickens, and it's pretty much set up so that you can get like another bottle, which yeah, we'll talk to you later. That was sort of a mistake. But for now, we're gonna just move on from here. We're gonna head into well, I first had no clue at all what was in there, but what was in this path, but it evidently leads to a graveyard. Now it may just look like a ordinary graveyard with just stuff to check out, but if you look a little bit closer, you'll find out that's not the case. And yeah. So after you've wandered around, and then you suddenly come across this random grave, and you see a little Triforce sign, you want to just sort of stand on it and then play the lullaby song. And here's what happens. I screw up a little bit, but you're supposed to play the lullaby. You get sort of a cutscene, change of scenery, change of weather. And then suddenly the lights start to flicker. Link starts to look like a werewolf for a little bit. And suddenly a hole appears. And there it lies. And what is down there? Well, let's go ahead and have a look. This. Now, here's a little inside joke. I at first thought this was an actual dungeon, and a friend goes, "Oh no, no." Well, I did manage to find out later is that this is a nice little opportunity to practice what we call Z-targeting. And the enemy that I'm currently trying to track down, in the original Outlaws or Legend of Zelda, they're just bats, but in this game they're called quiche, not to confuse it with the food. But evidently in this room, you're either going to hit them right away, or it's going to take a little bit of a try to find these bats. But you are required to kill 4 of these quiches here, and once you do that, there will be a gate that opens up. And to get up there, you have to look very closely at this wall here. It's not just a wall; there's a staircase if you look really carefully. And then it leads you to this room, which when I first saw it, I was like maybe thinking to myself, this is like probably the best haunted house effects that I've ever seen. But they're evidently, I just call them like naked zombies or naked humans or something. The name of them escapes me, but I'll explain those later. And we come to this thing here. It may look like there's nothing here, but check out the wall, because it'll give you a little bit of a dedication message saying that this belongs to the royal family. The rising sun will eventually set from sun to moon, moon to sun. So we find some notes inscribed on the wall. This is a song that is probably going to save lots and lots of time for the rest of the game. It's up till this point where you have to wait for night to become night, and you have to wait for day to become day. But when you learn this song here, you have the opportunity, or rather access, to make it day or make it night instantly. And it'll be pretty useful throughout the game. There'll be different things that you'll need to do, and you'll have to set it up, make it night, make it day, for various things. But I was learning about this early on when I first started playing it. I highly recommend it. It is indeed a very good item to check out. I don't think I actually do it in this, but it actually, when you play that song, it turns those little monkeys, or elder monkeys if you will, into like little white statues, which then of course for a limited amount of time you can nail them with your sword. So if you look very carefully at these dead bones here, the fairy will point out that you can actually get like a life fairy randomly from over there. So, well, that concludes it for this video here. Next up we're going to see something kind of cool, and we're going to go hopefully to the Death Mountain stage. So, see you then.